this started so that we have that started. Okay, good. All right, so we have an hour. I'm going to try to do this in an hour. I know everybody's like super busy and I don't want to take up everybody's time, but there's a lot to go over with storage facilities, right? So I know everybody has questions about this. I've been posting out now for about a month about storage facilities, about the mastermind. So what I wanted to do was just go over storage facility investing and why I feel, right, that it's probably one of the best ways to invest in real estate, right? This is where I'm building my wealth, right? I'm not building my wealth through rehabbing, right? I just had a meeting with my accountant, right? And I was really scared to go there, because I got a lot going on, you guys know. But it turned out to be really good. He said that I'm on the right track. We're on the right track. We're building wealth. We're getting things moving along and stuff too. And I really accredit that to storage facilities because I did a lot of rehabs. I made a lot of money, but I also lost a lot of money in rehabbing. Right? I lost a lot of money. So, and that's the one thing that I talked to my accountant about because he does a lot of taxes for rehabbers, and he's just saying that buy and hold wholesalers and anybody that's buying and holding are the ones that are making money, right? And so what I wanted to do was just go over my journey in storage investing and why I feel like you guys should be investing in this secret niche, right? So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. I love doing webinars. I love having everybody come on and listen. So what I want to do is I just want to make sure everybody can hear. So please type yes if you can hear. I know a lot of people are here. And I also want to go ahead. If you've already signed up for the mastermind, go ahead and say, yes, I've signed up for the mastermind. Right. I'm super excited about the mastermind coming up in a week. It's starting in a week. So, but anyways, okay, let's get started. Okay. So I am Stacy Rossetti. I want to introduce myself. There's a lot of people that do not know me. I am a local Atlanta real estate investor, and I've been investing now for 10 years. Okay. And so I'm going to go through kind of my process of how I got to storage investing. And then we're going to go over a lot of what we can do with storage investing. Now, you can't go over, you can't teach you everything about storage investing in an hour, just so you guys know that. But I'll do my best to at least kind of give you a broad overview of how the whole process works, what you should be looking for, how you can get out there right now and you can start looking for storage facilities. And then, well, if you have any questions at all you have to do is just put your questions in the chat, and then I will, as I look down and check, I'll check it. But if I don't, then I'll go at the end and I'll go ahead and I'll just answer everybody's questions. Ask any type of question that you want. Now, we are not going to get into, deal analysis, and we're not going to get into like all the, cap rates. We're not going to get into the foundation of commercial real estate investing because you have to be taught that. I mean, that takes time to be taught that, right? So, but I'm going to give you a general idea, and then I'm also going to tell you how you can just figure that stuff out pretty easily, right? On your phone, right? Sometimes you can just go right on your phone now and figure stuff like that out. But anyways, okay, so a super simple self-storage is my new product. It's going to be a mastermind. It's an online course. It's what I've been working on in the last couple of months, and I'm about to launch it, and the mastermind is the first piece of that puzzle. So please start following me. You can go to stacyrossetti.com. I've got so many awesome things coming out. Just follow me and you'll be a part of everything that I'm trying to work on. My goal for this year is to help 100 people get their first deal. And that deal could be any type of deal. I can help you with any type of deal, right? So that's my goal. All right, let's go. Let's move forward. Okay, so Again, if anybody does not know me, you can check me out online. All you have to do is go to southatlantaria.com, misslillians.com. You can check out Diamond in the Rough. You can check out the Super Secret Investor Society, and you can check out stacyrossetti.com. Those are all of my companies, right? So if you want to check me out and see if I'm legit or not, go ahead and look it up. Who knows what you're going to find? I don't even know what I'm going to find. I haven't Googled myself yet, but I am heavily on the internet. I'm out there because I put myself out there so I can help as many people as I can, make an impact in as many people's lives as I can, right? So you will be able to find me. All right. Okay. And so I want to just tell you what I've been doing over the last about year, right? So my husband and I, we were investing, we were rehabbing homes. And we've been rehabbing homes for almost 10 years now. We're still rehabbing a couple of homes, man. These things are like never ending. I'm trying to get out of rehabbing, but it just takes forever to rehab, right? And I love rehabbing because you make huge, big amounts of money immediately when it's done. But that process, going through the process, sometimes is like pulling teeth, right? So what happened is a couple of years ago, I got pregnant, right, with Lillian. So you can see Lillian here in the picture. And at that time, I was doing 20 rehabs at one time, right? And so I started to kind of just freak out a little bit, right? So what happened was while I was rehabbing those 20 houses, I couldn't manage all of that myself, right? Because I had to take care of my daughter. And so what happened is I had to hire a lot of people to help me. I had contractors and project managers and office help, because if you don't know it, managing 20 properties is really a lot of work. Anyway, so what happened was that over the course of that, over the course of the year and a half that I was pregnant and then I had the baby, I couldn't work that much. And all my money that I was making essentially was going to operational expenses, right? So I had to pay other people to do my job because I couldn't do my job because I had to stay home with Lillian. And plus I just wanted to stay home with Lillian, honestly. That's what I wanted to do. So I just gave up my money, gave up all the money that I was making during that time frame so that I could stay home with her. And I just hired everybody else to do the work, right? So that's what happened is essentially I was managing all these properties, but then paying everybody else, but not really making a lot of income, right? So my husband and I started talking, and my husband owned a home inspection company at that time. And he was also doing the same thing too. So he had all these home inspectors out, doing all these home inspections. We were running these businesses, but at the same time, we had to stay home and take care of Lillian. And if you know Pete, if you know my husband, he just wants to stay home too, just like I do, right? So, and just be with Lillian. And so we decided, like about a year in after Lillian got born, that we needed to start building our business around the lifestyle that we wanted, right? We wanted to build our business around the lifestyle that we wanted. And the lifestyle that we wanted was to stay home and be with Lillian as much as we possibly could. And if not, just stay home and be with Lillian, travel as much as we possibly could. Because nobody knows this, but before Pete and I had Lillian, we would travel to at least one new country a year. And I've been doing that since I was 18 years old. Right. And I've been to around 20, and not 20, I've been to around 30 or 40 different countries. I can't even count them anymore, but I've been to a lot of countries. Okay. And then Pete, he started to go in all these countries as well too. And that was kind of our thing, is that we would go out and travel the world, and we would go to all these different countries. And then we had Lillian, and we had to stay home. Right. So we wanted to get back to that lifestyle. We wanted to get back to where we could just travel as much as we possibly could, be with Lillian as much as we possibly could. Okay. So owning a rehabbing company does not allow you to do that, right? Because you have to be there to manage everything, right? But the wonderful thing is that I discovered storage facilities during this time, right? My realtor brought me one, and I told him, I said, I just want to start looking for, something that's passive, that I want to start building passive, because I don't want to be working so much. And so he started looking for me, and then he just came across this storage facility in Fayetteville. We're going to go over that project in the slides here. But he came across a storage facility in Fayetteville. I live in Peachtree City. This is in the Georgia area for everybody that's not here in the Atlanta area. I live in Peachtree City, and Fayetteville is literally right next to it. And the storage facility was like maybe 20 to 25 minutes away tops, right? So it was very close. So that like kind of appealed to me as well. And so I said, yeah, I'll go take a look at it. And after that, the rest is history, right? So we started building that. We bought that facility and started building that portfolio. And then we started building our business around the lifestyle that we wanted, right? And so this is what I really want. This is what I want to start teaching other people as well, too. Is like, I love investing in real estate, right? But you have to be able to decide, what do you want to do? What kind of business do you want? And how can you build your lifestyle around that, right? So we travel now all the time. We travel almost every single month. You should see my calendar. We have every single month, we have a vacation plan this year. And on top of that, we bought an RV and we travel around in that. And then we are starting to visit back to our one new country a year. This year, we're going to the Dominican Republic. And then one of my goals is that every year I want to start a new stream of income. Right. So if you know me, if you've been taught by me before, you know that I have many, many different ways of getting income. This is one of the things that I talked with my accountant about. He said, Stacy, we've got to figure out like how to class all these different income streams that you're getting. Right. So I literally start new income streams every couple of months. And that's one of my goals in life. Right. Because I want passive income. Right. Passive income so I can create this lifestyle. Right. Okay. Anyway, so enough about me. I just wanted to get into that. And yes, we do live in a tiny house. If anybody's interested in knowing about that, we can talk about that later as well too. But we sold everything that we had pretty much, and we moved into a tiny house this year because we wanted to eliminate all of the bills that we had as well too. So we didn't have those bills. So we could spend more money on travel and less money on the place that we stayed at. Right. Okay. All right. So let's get started on the storage stuff. Okay, so are you a self-storage nerd just like me, right? So if you are a self-storage nerd and you want to start in getting involved in learning how to invest in storage facilities, then I highly recommend that you go onto LinkedIn and to Facebook and you join as many groups as you possibly can. I have a new group that I just started called Super Simple Self-Storage, and you're more than welcome to join that. And that's where I'll just be posting tips and tricks, and you guys can ask any questions that you want on investing and how to look at storage facilities, whatever kind, whatever deals you find, and I'll help you to answer those questions. And hopefully I'll get more other storage facility owners that I know to come in as well too, and they can help answer questions as well. So, but what I want you to do is your homework for tonight, right, is to go onto Facebook and LinkedIn and to search storage facilities or self-storage or storage investing or whatever kind of keywords that you can find, and join as many of those groups as you possibly can, because I'm telling you, there's not a lot out there. There's like maybe 5 or 6. So there's not a lot, but they're amazing groups. They have so many awesome storage facility investors out there that are willing to help you. And actually part of the mastermind is going to be me bringing those people in, because over the course of the last couple of years, I've befriended many of those people. And man, there's some wonderful, awesome storage facility owners out there that just kind of think outside the box on how to buy them and manage them. So, all right. And so that is all about Facebook. I want you to get involved in Facebook and get involved in the groups there, okay? And LinkedIn as well too. Okay, so we talked about Fayetteville. This is the very first project that we bought, okay? So what happened is my realtor brought me this deal, okay? And so this is back when I didn't go out and drive for storage facilities, right? This is when I didn't know what even about storage facilities, right? So he brought me this deal. Okay, so when I went to go look at this deal, basically what I did he sent me the MLS, property card on it. I took a look at it and I said, I'll go take a look and see what it is. Very kind of dumpy storage facility that had been on the market for 5 years and nobody had bought it. Okay. Had been on the market for $500,000. Okay. And nobody had bought it. And the reason why nobody bought it is because, first of all, it was dumpy and horrible looking. And number two, it was overpriced. I mean, it was overpriced for what it was worth. And we're going to get more into that. But so basically, it was on the market for $500,000. And I ended up buying it for $250,000. Now, when you go out to look for storage facilities, okay, the ones that I'm talking about are not going to be nice storage facilities, okay? They're not big box companies, right? This is not CubeSmart and Extra and Public Storage. And it's actually not even, I drove around the other day with a student and we went to go look for storage facilities for him to buy. And I mean, once you start getting out there and really looking at the market, you'll start to realize that, there's a lot of storage facility owners that just like me that own 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So you'll start noticing that as well, too, when you start driving around. Right. But so, when they're owning 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I mean, this is kind of like a big box storage facility as well, too. So you really don't want to contact them. Right. So with the storage facility, with the Fayetteville location, what happened was I went over there. I scheduled an appointment with the realtor, and I went over there to take a look. And it was and I met Big John. It was Big John Storage Facility, is what it was. Big John Storage Facility, and what it was Big John was 88 years old. And he had built the storage facilities about maybe 30 years ago, like 1985 or whatever it is, like 25 years ago. And he owned the property, and he owned it outright, so he had no mortgage on it. And for the last like maybe 5 or 10 years, he just got bored of it. He really just got bored of it. He just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So when I went to go look at it, what I learned was that number one, he was taking only cash, right? Only cash. That's it. Number two, there was no, so basically, if you look at this storage facility, and we'll see some more pictures as we go through, but this storage facility had 64 units, right? The metal buildings. And then it had some parking all the way around it. It has enough space to put like at least 50 to 60 cars around the building. So there's a lot of parking space, which appealed to me as well, too, because not only was there 64 units, but there was all that parking space. Okay. So, when I was walking around that facility, basically I was counting how many cars I could possibly put there and how many units they had. I knew they had 20 and they had 64 units. So it was 64 10 by 10 units. And then you could break those up if you want to into 20 by 10 units by just taking the middle wall out is what you could do. So it's like a long strip, and you can take the wall out or you can put it in depending on what size you want. Right. And but what I was doing is just mentally going through and calculating. Okay, so if I have 64 10 by 10 units at $60 each, and then if I have cars parked there at $60 each, and we'll do the calculation. If you want to calculate that up, you can. So essentially 50 to 60 cars at $60 each, and then 64 units at $64 each. In my mind, I was calculating that you could be making quite a lot of money on this facility. And I asked him, I said, how much money are you bringing in every single month? And he said he was bringing in around $2,500 a month. Right. Well, if you calculate all those spaces up that I just told you about, you're going to get between $7,000 and $8,000, maybe even $9,000 if you squeeze it in and do it right a month. Right. And so I already knew that if he was only making $2,500 a month, where was all of the other money going to, right? Because there was no space for him, because essentially what he would do is he would just say, oh, just go park somewhere. And literally they would just park wherever they'd find a spot, and they would just park. There was no organization, no systems, no automation. There was nothing. It was just a guy that had some space and just said, go park wherever you want. If there's a unit, go find one. Now, all of the units were full, right? And he said that. He's like, all the units are full. And I said, oh, really? Okay, good. I said, why are you only bringing in $2,500 a month? He said, oh, no. I mean, like, all of them are full, but like, only a couple of people are paying, right? So for me, that was also a light bulb in my head going off, because, obviously this facility is not being managed properly. Number one, he's taking only cash. Number two, it's full and he's not even cleaning out the units. And number three, the parking was horrendous. It looked horrendous. And there was trash everywhere and there was tires. I mean, it just was a dumping ground, basically, is what it was. Okay. So for me, in my eyes, I see value add. I'm a rehabber at heart, right? I'm a rehabber at heart. So when I'm looking at that facility, I'm looking at the opportunity of how much I possibly could make. Now, when you look at something like that, you want to make sure that you can afford the bills, right? You want to make sure that it's going to take you a year to get, up to where you're making that much money. So you want to make sure you can afford the bills up to that point, right? And we'll get through that. But essentially, I'm looking at the opportunity, right? And then on top of that, when you buy a commercial building, right, they just, they calculate everything at cap rate. And when you go to a bank and they say, what's your cap rate? They average it at usually at 8%. So in my mind, I'm calculating, how much income I could be making in a month on this facility, plus the cap rate of what it could, at 8%, actually what it could be valued at when I sell it. All right. And so those are the kinds of things that you look for when you look for a storage facility, right? Right, is the as is income that's coming in, plus the value add and the income that you could be making, the opportunity, right? So you can compare both of those. So so I just so this is I put the numbers here so you guys can see, and we're going to go through this more in detail. But I just wanted you guys to see that honestly, with storage facilities, there's not a lot of expenses. Hardly any expenses at all, right? You can only see just a few. My mortgage is the biggest expense. And then there's some software, electric, and then that's about it. Right? So there is a lot of opportunity. And there was a lot of opportunity in this one. All right. And so then I said, I talked to my husband, Pete, and I was like, I think we should buy this one. All right. So, and if you guys have any questions or anything, go ahead. I'm going to just check the questions real fast just to make sure. So that's and so this right there, that is my daughter. Her name is Lillian, right? That's Miss Lillian Self-Storage. All of my storage facilities, they're all named after Lillian. And they're all honestly for her. I mean, essentially everything that we make is for her, right? So they're all in land trust. They're all in trust for her. And when she gets a certain age, we haven't decided what age yet, but when she gets a certain age, she's going to be able to get all these, right? Now, when we take her there, she does not want to be there, right? She's always like, I'm so bored. And she says, I want to play Peppa Pig and, this kind of stuff. But I'm like, look at this is your future here. But she doesn't really, get that or whatever. So hopefully one day she'll get that. Okay, so how in the heck do I find my storage facilities now? All right. So my realtor, he still gets up every single day and looks for storage facilities for me because, he knows I'll buy them if it's a good deal. So he said, I just got a couple of storage facilities the other day, and I put offers into the storage facilities on the MLS all the time. 90% of the time, any of the storage facilities that you find online are going to be overpriced. All right. So you want to do exactly how you would do in the rehabbing business or the wholesaling business. You want to do pennies on the dollar offers, right? You want to put an offer in so low that it just hurts, because I'm telling you that nobody knows how to calculate how much a storage facility really is. And it irks me to the bone, right? So that's why, honestly, I don't even look on the MLS. I don't go out and look over, anywhere anymore. I just go out and I go contact the sellers myself. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you to start driving for storage facilities. Okay. And when you're out driving for storage facilities, take some pictures of some storage facilities that you find, and then put hashtag driving for storage facilities and tag me. Okay. Because I want this to be a movement. Everybody's out looking for some storage facilities. Like I said, I took a student on Saturday and we drove around for like 8 hours looking for storage facilities. We went to 10 and found a couple of more. And we actually called one of the we called all the storage facilities and talked to everybody that we could. But essentially, one of the storage facilities, the owner answered the phone, and we have an appointment next week. This week, actually. This week, he said, yeah, just give me a call and then we'll meet next week. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to sell, but I'm thinking about it, so I don't know. And literally, we only called 10 storage facilities, and out of the 10, one of them wanted to meet us, right? So it's not difficult to find storage facilities, right? You just have to drive around. And the best thing about storage facilities is that the phone number is most of the time right on the sign, okay? So everybody asks me, how do I find storage facilities? I look for them when I'm driving around. That's what I do. And I have driving for storage facilities days on my calendar. My entire calendar is planned out for all of 2020 and everything. I keep telling all my students this. Everything is planned out. All right. I even have my own personal driving for storage facility days outside of the ones that I do for my students, because when we drive together, when we go out together, those are all for them, not for me, right? So that's everybody asks, how do you find it? That's how I find it. I drive around and I ask. Okay. So when I call up and talk to them, right? And for instance, like the guy that we talked to this weekend that said, yes, I do want to meet you. Let's schedule a time to meet. So now we need to start doing some due diligence on these storage facilities, right? We need to go to Landglide. If you do not have Landglide on your phone, I highly recommend that you have it. It's only an app. Just search Landglide, and it's actually one of the best real estate investor apps out there. It's like $10 a month though, so you have to pay for this app. And all of my students should have this app on their phone right now, because your homework up until the meeting is to drive around and go look for storage facilities, right? And come back on the first meeting and have at least one that you can say, yeah, I drove around and I found this one. This is a good one. Is it good or not? I don't know. But So Landglide is the best way, I feel, to figure out who owns that property, right? So when you're driving around, make sure you have the Landglide app open, and then you open that up. And then when you find a storage facility, just open it up and put that address right into Landglide, and it will pull all the information, the public information up of that property. Right. And so then, and it gives you the owner and the name. It gives you also their mailing address. So you can also mail them a letter, or if you want, you can skip trace it. Right. And if you don't know what skip tracing is, you can just Google it. Essentially, it's a way to find somebody's phone number. You can skip trace it, and then you can just give them a call, a personal call. All right. And sometimes with skip tracing, they'll even give you emails. They'll give you all kinds of information. Right. And it's just all public information. Okay, that's what it is. So Landglide, so you want to drive for dollars, and you want Landglide to be open, and you want to be driving around, pulling up the public information on that. Now, sometimes the properties are owned by companies. So then you have to do a little bit of digging on that, right? And I'm not going to get into that today, but essentially you have to dig to try to figure out who the owner is, right? But as an investor, if you want to be an investor, you've got to learn how to figure out who owns properties. It's like a little puzzle. It's like a little challenge, right? So you got to practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it, right? So for instance, on the one that I just closed a couple of weeks ago, I just bought one a couple of weeks ago. When I went to Landglide to look who the owner was, a company came up, right? So what I did was I just looked to see who the owner of that company was, right? And actually I just Googled it. That's all I did, just Google it, and phone numbers for that company came up, and that company was actually owned by another company. And so it was kind of like a little playing chase. I had to go through and dig a little bit, but I finally got a hold of somebody, and they gave me the phone number to the owner. When I talked to the owner, basically I said, "Oh, is this Glenn?" And he said, yes. Who's this? And I said, "Oh, this is Stacy. I said, I'm calling you about your storage facility." He said, oh, you want to rent a unit? I said, no. I want to buy your facility. And he just paused for a moment, and he said, "When do you want to meet?" And that's it. That's how easy it took. This was an abandoned storage facility that I drove by and found. Okay. So when you talk to the owners, basically you want to figure out who the owner is, and then you just want to start asking questions, right? So how many units is it? How much square feet is it? How much money are you bringing in every single month? Do you have a mortgage on the property? The basic questions that you need to know about the facility. And, and most of the time when you talk to these people, I'm going to say 95% of the time when you talk to these people, they're going to say, not much is coming in. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have leases. I don't have a ledger. I don't have a P&L. I don't have anything. I have nothing because I use a yellow notepad to take all my notes. Or, for instance, the one that I'm wholesaling right now, I have one that's in Dublin, Georgia. If anybody's interested, please contact me. It's in Dublin, Georgia, which is kind of south of Macon. And this one, the owner, he keeps all of his information on Post-it notes. Post-it notes. I've seen them. Okay. So that's how you know it's a good deal, when you know that the owners don't know how to manage their properties, because that's what we do is we buy properties that owners do not know how to manage them. We buy mismanaged properties that need TLC. You're not going in and rehabbing it, but you're going in to clean it up, to fix it up, and then you're going to manage it properly. You are the one that's going to manage it properly. All right. So this one right here, this is another one of my properties, this picture too. And this is actually how it looked when I bought it. This is when I bought it. This is exactly what it looked like. And there's actually another building right next to it. And then what's funny is this one here, there's actually a tow shop. There's a mechanic shop. It's on the same property. So I actually own a mechanic shop as well too, guys, because it just came with the property, right? So we have storage facility and a mechanic shop. And like, for instance, like the only thing we did to clean this facility up was we just picked that sign up that was on there and threw it in the trash. All right. So that was our rehabbing for the storage facility. It was actually in pretty good shape. This owner, when I called him and talked to him, right, and I said, I want to go look at the storage facility. I want to buy your storage facility. Are you interested in selling it? He said, "Where are you? Can you meet me right now?" And I said, "Well, I'm actually like right in front of your building right now." And he's like, "Okay, let me drive over now. And we'll just meet." And he lived just right around the corner. And so we got into talking, and I said, "I'm very interested. How much do you want to sell?" He said, it's like 60, I think it's like 60 something units. So you notice that all of my facilities are all kind of around, 60 to about 120 units already. So I don't go big. I don't, I go small. And the reason I go small is because, first of all, I want to be able to manage these from my phone. I don't want to have an office. I don't want to have a business. I want to have an investment that I can build, I can manage properly. And if I want to down the road, I can easily sell these things, right? So if you get into 6, 7, 8, 9, $1 million, $2 million storage facilities, those they're hard to sell. They're really hard to sell. I don't want to buy them. And a lot of people don't want to buy them. Only really bigger kind of bigger companies want to buy those, and those are few and far between, right? So I kind of stick to I mean, I'm always looking for around $500,000 or less is what I'm looking for, but I stick to around $300,000 or less for my facilities. And I just am slowly acquiring those one by one by one, okay? So anyways, on this one, when I did talk to the owner, we talked, I said, how many units, what are you bringing in? And he had his ledger, right? He had a ledger this time. It was a piece of paper, like a grid paper. And that's how he took care of his business. And he'd owned this business for 25 years. And he's been doing the same way for 25 years. He even had he has one tenant. He had one tenant that literally had been there for 20 years, paying $25 a month. Crazy, right? Anyway, so I started talking to him, and and so I just, I basically said, I'm very interested. What's your price? And he told me the price. I said, okay, I really want to buy in this. So let me just go talk to my lenders and my bank and see if I can pull the money together. He was like, oh, no. If I sell this to you, I will be the bank, right? And I was just like, what? And that was my first time with talking to a seller that I realized that a lot of these storage facility owners, they don't want to pay capital gains. They don't want to. And so that's one reason why they don't sell the facilities, is because they don't want to pay the capital gains. But what we do as investors is we educate them on why they should owner finance it to us, right? So they'll pay the capital gains, but they won't pay it. They won't pay it up front. They'll pay it over a long-term period, right? So that's what he said. He's like, I don't want to pay the capital gains. I just want to pay it over the course of 10 years. So my terms are, for 10 years at 6% interest. And it's, the price is $200,000, and that's my terms. And I said, okay, let's do it then, so it was that easy, right? Once you really get into it, once you really start talking to these people, I'm telling you, that's how easy it is. Now finding and buying the storage facilities is the easiest part. And everybody always thinks in their mind that's the hardest part. But I'm telling you, that's the easiest part. Managing the storage facilities is the hard part. Managing them is the hard part, because you become a retail commercial space owner, right? You become a retail commercial space owner. And we're going to get into that here in just a minute. So it's an investment, but you also have a commercial business, okay? All right. So when you talk to them, you want to ask for this one thing, right? You want to ask them so anybody in the chat, please tell me, what is the most important document that you need in order to make a decision on buying a storage facility? If you have an idea of what you think this is, please put it into the chat box. I want to see if anybody can guess this. And all my students, a lot of my students should know this. If you've listened to any of my webinars before, you'll know this as well too. What's the one document that you should always ask for? Always ask for. What do you think? Any suggestions? Any ideas? All right. Okay. Donna says clear title. Kay says the deed. Good suggestions. Good suggestion. Anybody else have any idea what they should be asking for when they talk to the seller, right? Because you're gonna ask the typical questions: how many units? How much square footage? How do you have parking? How much income do you get? You want to ask, do you have a gate? Does the gate work? These kind of questions you want to ask, right? But this one question you've got to ask to see if they have it. All right. And I see there's title, rent roll. Okay, good. We're getting some answers in. The answer is rent roll, right? You want to ask for rent roll, right? Now, can you get the rent roll? In these types of situations, the answer is no. I would say 95% of the time, of all of the storage facilities that I've bought, just the way that I'm explaining it to you right now, only one business had a rent roll. Only one business had a rent roll. right? The other ones do not even, they don't keep track in QuickBooks. They have their accountant taking care of everything. They don't look at the numbers. All they care about is how much money that's coming in. That's all they care about. They don't care about the big picture of how to run a business, right? But us as investors, right? Excuse me, us as investors, we like to look at the big picture, right? Excuse me. So when you start running your business, you are going to be managing this business properly because you are setting up your business so that later down the road you can sell it if you want to. All right, if you want to. In the next upturn, when things are going totally awesome and you want to sell it, you have all the documents that you need, right? You have everything that you need. Or you can sell it in a year or 2 or 3 years. But I'm telling you, if you want to sell it and make top dollar on your property, you have to have rent roll, right? So for instance, Big John, when I talked to him, right? And he had a little ledger that he took notes in and stuff. I told him, I mean, this is exactly what I told him. I said, John, I said, the reason why nobody's buying this facility is because no bank is going to lend to you. No bank is going to lend to them because you don't have a P&L. You don't have a balance sheet. You have no numbers to show us. Your taxes, he takes all cash. And if he does anything with taxes, he just puts it into, he owned another business. He would just mix it into that, just put it into that. It's like, and so there's no way for anybody to go to a bank to get a loan on this property. So, but I can get a loan on this property, right? Because I'm going to go to a private lender and I'm going to borrow money. But that money is going to be double interest rate of what I would pay at a bank, right? So that is why I cannot offer you what you want. And that is why I have to offer you this, right? And when I said that to him, you could just see his eyes just got like super big, right? And he looked like he got slapped in the face, right? But that's how you want to talk to the sellers, is essentially, if you don't run your business the way that it's supposed to be run, then you are not going to get top dollar for that property, right? Okay, now, this property here, this is my Newnan property, right? So you can see there's boat and RV parking. What do you see in this picture that you see? What do you see that is not in use as of right now, right? So we've got a couple of buildings way over there. We've got the boat and the RV parking, and we're full on that. We got plenty. We got 15 spaces. It's 15 spaces. It's full on that. All of the units are pretty much full. But there's one thing that you can see in this picture that is not of use, right? And what do you see that I could be using right now that I'm not, that will bring more money in? What do you think it is? All right, put your suggestions in the box. Now, Newnan is the one property that had a rent roll, right? He's the one property. Now, even though you have a rent roll, does it mean that you'll be able to get top dollar? No, because this fool was annoying the hell out of me, right? Why? Because when I went to go, when I got the rent roll, I was debating on whether or not to buy this one because this was actually kind of a little bit higher price than what I wanted to pay, and he would not come down on the price, right? And when I looked at the rent roll, I looked at it in August, and it was like, he was barely even full. And this guy had owned this storage facility for many years, and he was like 25% occupied. All right. And so then I thought about it. September, October, I said, okay, send me over another rent roll. He said, I'm filling it up. I said, send me the new rent roll over then so I can take a look at it. So I took a look at the rent roll. And he was filling it up, but he was filling it up for like the cheapest prices out there. I mean, he was charging like for units like $35 and $45 a month, when it should have been like $60 to $120 a month, right? And I told him, I said, okay, stop. I will buy this, but you have to stop filling this thing up because you are not managing this property correctly, right? You cannot put you cannot just put anybody into it. You can't just go, you can't be the cheapest one around, because then you won't be able to afford even what you need to pay for. And that's basically what happened with him, is that he thought that he could fill it up by being the cheapest in town, but what he did was just hurt himself, right? So that was another clue to me that it would be a good deal. So eventually I talked him down to a price that I was comfortable with, and I bought the property, right? And so with these properties, how you find the money, and we're going to be talking about this, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but essentially there's many different ways for you to buy storage facilities. Now he had income coming in. It was probably around, when I bought it, was around like 30 or 40, 30 to 40% full, something like this now. So, but so the way that you find money for storage facilities is, yes, you have to have money to put down. You have to have money to put down. So essentially what that means is, I'm telling you, because I get a lot of calls about this, is that it's the 80-20 rule. Just like in rehabbing, just like in any other investment, you have to put money down. If you're going to do 100% financing, you're just going to pay like a ridiculous interest rate. You're going to have hidden fees and all these different types of fees that you don't know about. And in the end, you're just going to hurt yourself, right? And there's no deals right now that can barely even be funded at 100% with like super high interest rates. There's just not any deals. And the same goes for storage facilities, right? There's no 100% funding. You're going to have to find money to put 20% down, right? So you're going to have to be creative with this 20%, right? You're going to think outside the box. This is one thing that we're going to go over the mastermind, but essentially, like, you're going to have to think outside the box in order to get that 20%. So you say, how much money do I have to come up with? For the 20%, if I want to buy something for $300,000, right? So you have to come up with $60,000. And there's some lenders out there that will take 10%. I have a lender that's going to be speaking at the mastermind that takes 10%. And but then there's some that that take 20%, and the less amount that you can put down, the higher the rate is. That's just how it is. But you have to, just like in all real estate investment transactions, you've got to think outside the box when you come up with money, and you have to be resourceful, right? The best investors are the most resourceful. You've heard me say this over and over and over again if you've come to any of my workshops, right? You've got to be able to pull money out of your butt, right? So you have to come up with 20% down, but there are ways. There's gap funding, there's private lenders, there's and then there's lenders that will do 10% down, and then there's lenders that will do 20 or 30% down. There's SBA loans out there. The SBA loans are perfect for storage facilities. Yeah, SBA. Banks love storage facilities for SBA loans, and then there's owner financing, right? Just like I said, like if you can find the seller to owner finance it to you, then all you have to do is come up with that down payment, because they will require a down payment as well too, right? So there's a lot of different ways to come up with funding, all right? And you just have to be creative and resourceful in doing that. And yes, the land is what was vacant on that picture, the land, right? Land and storage go hand in hand. I love land. I love storage. And you'll see me talking a lot more about land also over the course of the year. So that property, the Noonan property, it was on 3 acres. And the storage units took up 1 acre. And then the rest is just like open space, but it's not fenced in. Like, I don't know what the owner was thinking. He did some like weird fenced in thing or whatever. So Pete and I have to go in and refence that. We're in the process of getting quotes right now. And then we're going to restructure that whole area to be just parking. All right. For boats and RVs, because that area is like a boat and RV kind of a place. All right. The parking at like the Fayetteville location that we have is like big rigs and like tow trucks, and like, cause it's more of like an industrial area. So, but parking is parking, man. If you want to park your car, just as long as you pay me every month, I'll be fine. Okay. Anyways, so you have to think about, when you look at that, that's one of the main reasons I bought that property as well too, is that think of all that opportunity right there that we have not been taking a hold of, and that we can take advantage of as we grow. We can say, okay, now we have enough money to fence that whole area in, and then we can go in and start figuring how we can pave. If we want to put gravel down, whatever we want to do, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. But another opportunity out there, another stream of income that we can utilize to bring money in. All right, so managing your office. All right, so now we've got something under contract. We're closing on it. We found money, and now we're going to manage it, right? So the one thing I love about storage facilities is exactly what I said at the very beginning of the webinar, is that you can build your life around your business. All right. Or you can build your business around your life, whichever one it is. But you know what I'm talking about. So you can build your business around your life. So essentially our life is that we want to go on vacations every single month, right? That's what our life is, all right? And so you can do that, right? All you have to do is make it a priority. That's it. All you have to do is make it a priority. And that's what Pete and I have decided to do. We make it a priority. So for you, when you get into this, you just have to say, look, okay, how do I want to build this business? Do I just want a couple $1,000s to come in every single month, or do I want to, grow that out and scale that? And the bigger that you get, then, of course you have to hire like an office manager. But, when you have one or two, it depends on how many units you have. But I would say probably around 150 units or less, you can really handle this on your own, because managing it is not a lot of work. You have just answering the phone calls. The only thing that's annoying about managing the properties yourself is that phone calls just kind of come in whenever. So you can't control when the phone calls are coming in, and they'll come in at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they'll come in at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And if there's emergencies or anything like that, you have to answer the phone. That's the only annoying thing about storage facilities, is that you just don't know when the calls are coming in. So my idea is like, okay, I wanted to scale up as soon as I possibly could, because I want to be able to hire somebody to answer the phones, right? That's like my thing, okay? And so that's what we did, is we went out and bought as many as we could. And so now we can afford, now we could afford an office manager to manage all that for us, right? So that's just all about scaling up. But so when you're managing it, though, it doesn't take a lot of time. The only things that really take time when you're managing your office is putting your customers, your tenants into your software, answering the phone, putting the tenants into the software, and then managing the auction process. Really just managing the auction process, because that's kind of like a lengthy process too that you have to do on a regular basis. We'll get into that in just a minute. But other than that, honestly, it's not that much work. It's really not that much work. And I love that part about the storage facilities. So, let's see. So now I would say, like, we have 6 facilities now, and then we're working our office manager is working probably around 3 hours a day on that, a total of 3 hours a day. So for 6 facilities, almost 450 doors, we're running around, 15 hours a week? That's for that many facilities. So it really is not a lot of work. Okay. So, so I wanted to talk about just hiring a manager. Like I said, you hire a manager after around 150 doors, right? 150 doors is about when you're saying, okay, like, I might need some help on this. But you may say, look, I got 300 doors. I called a lady up. I drove by her place and called it up. It's like 300 units. And I called and talked to the lady. She had bought the facility maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And she literally just goes there every day and manages her facility. How boring. Oh my gosh, you do not want to have a business like that, right? So she's there every day, all day working. And she even said, I have 300 facilities. And she's like, sometimes I'm just bored. Now, around the first of the month, when all the rents are due, of course, it's like chaotic and crazy. And then towards the end of the month, when you start processing all your auctions, it's a little chaotic and crazy. But she's like, during the middle of the month, she's like, I'm kind of bored. I don't even have a lot to do. I'm just like sitting here. And I'm like, lady, you're crazy. I would never just sit there. I bought another facility in Franklin, Georgia. That's all he did. The owner just sat there every day for 20 years. And he has in that one, there's like an office. And he went to his office and he sat every day from like 8 in the morning until like 6 o'clock at night. He sat there and just managed that thing. Can you imagine? So we're not going to do that. Okay. We don't do that. Anyway, so now phones, yeah, you have to buy phones. The bills, I put the bills on here so you could see all the bills. There's software. Marketing is going to be your biggest bill. All right. Marketing is going to cost you quite a bit of money, especially up front. You have to, that's what I told you guys, is that you are now a retail commercial owner. You're a retail business owner, right? So now you have to learn how to do Facebook ads. You have to learn how to do SEO, PPC, Google AdWords. You have to really understand that, because that's how you market. Because you know how people, what do you do if you go look for a storage facility? They go online and they put storage facility Jasper, right? That's what they do, right? So you got to make sure that you're coming up, because if you're all the way on page 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, nobody's going to want to move into your thing, right? So you have to learn how to do that, or you have to hire it. So there's 2 ways to do it. Do it yourself, and learn how to do it, or hire somebody to do it, right? One's more expensive than the other, but one's more time consuming than the other, right? So which one are you, right? And if you're in the mastermind, I will teach you how to do all that, but that's a whole couple of sessions or whatever. But that is going to be the most expensive expense that you have, is marketing to fill your facilities up. Okay. Other than that, and your mortgage, you got your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and you got marketing, and then you got like a couple of piddly other things, and that's it. And that's the one thing. See, my husband and I, we said we're going to get rid of all bills, because when you're rehabbing, you got a lot of bills, because you're always writing these checks to all these contractors. Every week I was writing 10 or 20 or 30 checks, right? But now, like with all my storage facility stuff, it's just drafted out of my account. I don't write any checks. No checks. I haven't written a check in months. It's awesome. Anyways, so that's the good thing about storage facilities as well, right? Okay. Now, how to train your tenants. So like I said, when you are going to manage your facilities, you are going to be the best manager out there that puts their foot down, right? You have to train your tenants. If you don't train your tenants, then you are going to be taken advantage of, like all of the people that you have been buying your facilities from, right? And you do that by automation and systems, right? So you are going to buy a software that manages all of your facilities, right? It is going to be easily everything's just cloud-based, put it online, very easy. And then you are going to automate everything that you do, right? So all of your auction process, getting your phones answered, and then train your tenants. Training your tenants to follow your rules, right? And not them telling you what they want to do, right? So, so that's really the key, is like putting your foot down, coming up with the systems, coming up with your rules, coming up with the way that you want to run your business, so that you can manage it like a business and not be chasing the money and the payments all the time, right? Now, of course, every single month they're going to have like people that are late and stuff, like it's Christmas time. So like a lot of people are like, oh, I spent all my money and stuff, so you can give them leeway here. And if they're good tenants and, and they're paying and they call you up and stuff. But, all those tenants that aren't paying, guess what we do? We up their rent. Oh, you haven't paid in like a month or 2. You can either pay us now, or next month we're going to start with a $10 increase in your rent payment. We do that a lot too as well. But so there's a lot of tricks and tips that you can do to get your tenants to pay. But essentially, you've got to have those systems in place. You've got to have those rules. And the software that you get, the software that will manage all of that for you, right? So we have like a boots on the ground person that just kind of has an iPad, and he takes the iPad and he's just boop, 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 every single facility. Oh, overlock here and sweep out this, and this door is broken, and it's all just automated on this the software that we use, right? Very awesome. Very cool, huh? All right. And so what about tenants that don't pay? Oh, tenants that don't pay. Storage wars. Yes, we're going to go out there and there's going to be hundreds of people that just show up and everybody's going to bid me 500, 10,000, 200, 2,000. No, that's not how it works, unfortunately. That's just not how it works. Now, I heard like over in California, maybe that happens, but like in everywhere else in the world, this does not happen, okay? Now, we have a couple of people every single month. They're like thrift store owners and they call us up, got any auctions today? And I said, yeah, we got an auction over here and here and here. And then they'll come and they'll be there. So we're starting to build up our gang. We got our tribe. We got our peeps, right, that we can call. If we have auctions, they're going to come hang out with us because they want to come and just bid. Now, when they bid, it's like, I'll give you 25 books or 50 bucks. I think one time we got like $100, right, for one facility. So, but other than that, no, I'm sorry, right? So that's why you have to train your tenants, train them what the rules are, get them to pay on time. And then if they don't, get them out as soon as possible because you're just going to lose money the longer that you keep them, right? And also, so the auction process is a very difficult process to understand and comprehend. Georgia law, any law. So you want to, in any state that you're at, you want to learn the auction process. I have Legal Shield, right? So I just called up my lawyers and they told me what the process is. But then you have to create systems around that process. You have to create all those systems to make sure that you do all the steps because there's like 10 different steps that you have to do, not only for the units, but also for the vehicles. Like, so there's an auction process for like units, and then there's an auction process for your vehicle. It's an abandoned vehicle process or something like that. And there's two different types of processes. So you want to make sure that you figure out what your state laws are. Every single state, mostly the same, but there's a lot of stuff that's different as well too. In the state of Georgia, you have to give 14 days notice, and then you have to give another like 14. You have to give 14 days notice, and you have to put it in the paper for 14 days. So the whole process takes like quite a while. And then you have to do all the paperwork, and you have to contact the newspaper, and the newspaper is on a different schedule. So it's kind of like a whole process that you have to do. So essentially, what I did is once we learned the process, once we figured out what the true process was, and we actually went and took a course on it as well too. So now Pete can teach this, like he's like, this is thing. But essentially, now you can create it into a system, and then you can implement it right into the software that you use as well too. All right. But yes, it is quite extensive to do process. But good thing is that you can get them out within a month or so, maybe 6 weeks. You know, you're out, and then you can get that rented again. Okay, so let me go through what you need to know about buying and managing storage facilities. And if you've been to any of my trainings before, you know that I teach this over and over and over again. Is what you have to do is you have to divide your company into your 6 departments, right? And this is how I teach. I teach you have in any investment business, in any company, you're going to have an office, right? And how you run your office. You're going to have your marketing department, your acquisitions department, your finance department, your management department, and your liquidations department. So you have 6 departments, right? In any type of business that you have in the real estate investing world, okay? Now, if you're a wholesaler, you might not have construction. If you're Airbnb, you'll have management. If you're storage facility, you'll have management. But if you're rehabbing, you're going to have construction. So it's kind of the same philosophy. But in this respect, you're going to have office, marketing, acquisitions, finance, management, and liquidations. Those are your 6 departments, right? Now, each of those departments has moving parts. Right? You have all different kinds of systems. You have so many different things that you have to be doing, right? So you want to break all those departments down, and then internally, figure out which systems belong in which department, so that you can create those and you can automate those, right? And so that's how you break that down, is you take it department by department, and then you break each department down, and then you write out all the different things that you do in that department. And you say, okay, answering phones, taking calls, managing my reports, managing the tenants. You break those all down, and then you can create all these different systems for that, right? So if you're going to be buying and managing storage facilities, just make sure that in order for you to automate it, in order for you to be able to buy and then manage and then sell and hold, manage properly and then sell them and hold them, you have to understand and have to break down and automate those systems, because you will get top dollar. I'm telling you, if you know how to run your business, and if you say, I want to sell my business, and then you can just hand over a plate full of all these systems and everything running smoothly, then people are going to want to buy that, right? But if you're just not doing that, nobody's going to want to buy that. And you can hold on to these properties as long as you want as well too. And then the more automated and the more systematized you get, the better these companies are going to be running, and the more money you're going to be making, right? So I just want to keep that in mind. Now, real fast, let me see here. I wanted to make sure I answered some questions. Let's go through and see. Does anybody have any questions? If you have questions, please post this out. I'm going to finish up the slides here. We have a couple more slides, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss any questions here. It says, okay, yes, I signed up for the mastermind. Awesome. Okay, good. Considering the mastermind, how is Landglide different from DealMachine? Great question, Donna. Okay, so DealMachine is driving for dollars app. Essentially, you're going to be driving around, taking a picture of the unit, and then of the house, and then it will give you like a property report card, and then you can mail a postcard out, right? I'm not sure exactly what kind of information it gives you, if it gives you public data or not, but it's kind of the same concept, except for DealMachine, I think, is like $50 a month, and Landglide is like $10, like $8.99 or $9.99 a month. Okay, so just a little bit different on the price, and I'm not sure how accurate the information on DealMachine is, because I have not used DealMachine. But if anybody's used DealMachine, if they are using it, chime in and let me know, is that information usually accurate or not? On Landglide, I can tell you the information is actually pretty accurate, right? I love Landglide because I have yet to find a property that I could not get a hold of somebody immediately or needed to skip trace them. All that information was right there for me. So, and also it just draws out all the property lines and you can see everything, so it's just a great tool. Okay, and then Kay says, what was that, an installment sale or just simply owner financing? No, that was an owner financing. So the owner, he was talking about for one of my facilities, that was owner financing. So essentially he's the bank, and he's holding on to that money supposedly until I'm going to be paying that off in like 10 years. So it's not even a principal only loan. It's actually a loan where I think in 10 years I'm paying the entire thing off. So he is actually the bank. Okay. Let's see. And then let's see what else. Deeds, income expenses. Tracy says that. Okay, good. Rent roll, title, rent roll, P&L, good lines, good. So you definitely want to get the rent roll, and you definitely want to look for properties that have land. Land adds value, right? So a lot of times, like land doesn't, like with houses, a lot of time land is like not a lot of value, right? It's like 20% or something like this. But land and storage, land has more value because you can consider the opportunity cost of that property and what you can build, or if you want to build some more units on there. I have yet to build any units. I'm more of like a parking person. So I just like, I got more land. Let me just throw some cars on that, because it's like free to do that. You can just fence it in. It's good. But a lot of people put units on there. Some people don't even want to deal with parking, because parking is kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. If they don't pay, like what are the rules to get them off and things like this. So a lot of people just don't want to deal with that. But I'll deal with it. I'll put up with it because I'm automated and systematized, right? So I'll put up with all that stuff. Okay, good. Okay, so, and then we have, what do you consider to be a lot? What do I consider to be a lot? What do you mean, Hakeem? A lot? I feel like a lot of what? a lot of what? That's like very broad, general question. I have no idea what you're talking about. So remind me what you're talking about. Oh, for the marketing, or what do you mean for the marketing? I'm not sure. Are there any good books you recommend for storage facilities? That is a great question that you asked that. I went online to go look for storage facility books because I wanted to listen to them, and there's like nothing out there. There's like nothing. I think I've got like one book. So I went on Audible. I don't know if it was Audible, or you can go and look and see, but that's like, that would be like the most boring book to read anyways in the whole world, right? So unless you're a book reader, I don't know, but I highly recommend checking out Audible and going to Audible. I think I downloaded one storage facility book, but I haven't listened to it yet. But yeah, like I said, storage facilities, and I think I have that right here. Not yet. Storage facilities are the best kept secret in the real estate industry that nobody is investing in, but everybody should be investing in. Nobody knows about, nobody really, it just blows my mind that it's such a small niche of people that are interested in investing in storage facilities. And there's really so much opportunity out there, right? Not only for buying old ones and just, holding on to them, but, building, but don't build in like big cities. I'm not going to ever build anything because I'm too lazy to do that. But some people want to build, all right, but just don't build in major cities. You want to find other places that you can build in. Okay, and then let's see what else. Kay says, do you own facilities that are not driving distance from you? Yes. Okay, so most of my storage facilities are 2 hours away. Okay, and one of them, the one that I just bought, is 15 minutes away. All right. But it doesn't matter if it's 2 hours away or 3 or in the same state. It doesn't really matter. As like, I wouldn't recommend being like 4 or 5 or 6 hours away if, for your very first one, because you want to try to figure out how it is. You want to be able to drive over there. And actually, when you buy a storage facility, there's a lot of upfront work, honestly, in the very beginning. You got to, especially if they're all filled up and you got to get them cleaned out and stuff like this. So it's a little time consuming in the very beginning to get everything all up and running, right? So if it's like so far away, it's kind of hard for you to do that. But once you build them up, like, we're okay. And we'll go hours away now. And we'll go anywhere. We'll go North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. I mean, we'll go anywhere in this area is what we'll do. We're looking in all those areas right now because we have those systems. We have that automation down, right? Okay. Let's see what else. Why would an owner want to be the bank instead of just getting money up front? Because they get that is an awesome question, because they are getting that interest rate, right? So he's actually going to make $100,000. So I'm paying him $200,000, but over the course of 10 years, he is making $300,000. So he's actually making $100,000 on that money, right? For me, just paying him every single month. That's what he's doing. So owner financing is also one of the best ways to make money. And this is something that me and my husband are also doing. We owner finance properties, and we're looking right now doing land as well too. So it's one of the best kept ways to make it. This is land, storage, and owner financing. 3 best ways to make money. All right. Okay, and then Shannon says, how do you determine the rent per space to charge? $1 per square foot? No, it's just it's comps. It's competition. So you want to really know all the competition in your area. Essentially, what is everybody charging? So you want to call around and ask, or Google it, or however you're going to do that. But that's what you have to do, is competition. And then from there, you decide what you should be charging. But we'll definitely get way deeper into that, Shannon, in the mastermind, right? Okay. And let's see. Deborah says YouTube. Okay, great. What's YouTube? And do you have your facilities in a land trust and an LLC? Yes. All of my facilities are all in land trusts, and they're all in LLCs. And they're all, so they're all protected, everything. Everything that I do is in a land trust, right? It's all privacy, right? The more properties that you have, the more private you want to be, okay? And Sue Ellen says, also avoids capital gains to owner financing. Yes, exactly. Like I said, owner financing is if you're smart, you're owner financing, right? And that's so funny because I bought the one that I bought from, his name was Ernest, and that I got the owner financing fund. He said that to me. He's the one that brought that up. He's like, yeah, no, I don't want to pay the capital gains. Now you do have to pay capital gains over an amount of time, but you just have to pay it all up front. Right. So it's like losing, $50,000 up front or $50,000 over the course of 10 years. But like you pay, and like if you have that $50,000 right now, you could be investing it and doing stuff with it. But if you pay it over time, I'm sorry, that's wrong. If you pay that right now, then you can't invest it. But if you only pay a little bit over time, then you can invest that money over time as well too, right? So you're not paying that all up front, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh, to the person that asked about the books and said that there were none, there are some videos on YouTube. There are videos on YouTube. I have looked at all the videos on YouTube, and honestly, they're not good. They're not good. I'm sorry, they're not. I'm starting a YouTube page this year. I'm going to be putting it out. I mean, there's some people out there that are doing some YouTube stuff, but it's just so outdated. It's really, look at the dates of the YouTube pages, like of the people that are teaching storage facilities. There's nothing done like in 2019, 2020. It's really crazy, so that's why I am going to start the YouTube page. You can start following me once you find it. It's under Stacy Rossetti Teaches is what it's going to be under. Okay. And let's see. Also, once you get it managed properly, can refi to take the equity out to buy more. You got it. Exactly. So for instance, we are on Fayetteville right now. Do you not see the numbers on this? What is my cap rate? Can you see it? It's kind of small for me. I can't see it because I'm blind. I'm old and blind, right? But I know the cap rate. All right. If you can see it, type it into the chat. Right. So this is the Fayetteville one. This is the very first one that we talked about, that where Lillian was standing in front of it. This is what it looks like. As you can see, one long strip right through the middle, right? And then there's parking all the way around it, a lot of parking. Okay. And this is on a 3-acre lot, very long, right? So yeah. So, I mean, it's not like a nice facility. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, it's so funny because I went to drive around and look at storage facilities with a student this past weekend. And there's one company that has 3 facilities. And I can guarantee you that the facility that they bought probably looked like this, but there's like 3 or 4 different more of them. It's probably like, I would say at least 100 to 150 units on each of their facilities. They had 3 of them. And, they went in, like they bought the facility. They just bought these in the last couple of months because it hasn't even updated on LandGlide. They just bought them. They went in and painted the whole thing. They paved it, made it all look nice. They put a kiosk in. A kiosk costs $20,000. They put security cameras in. It's like automated phones, answering machine. The gate, it was brand new. They spent at least $100,000 fixing those facilities up. And I'm just thinking to myself, I literally put hardly any money into these things. And I'm probably making the same amount of rent that they're making, right? Because Georgia, it's about the same, right? Now, they have some that are climate controlled, so they're probably making more on that, and some that are not. But essentially, like, why would you go in and put $100,000 into these things just so that you have this like brand when literally you can just have them clean them up, make them look nice, but don't put that much money into them, but just fill them up. Because what happens in commercial properties is that when you go to sell it, it's based on what? It's based on how you run it, how much money it's making, how many systems you have, how the rent roll looks, how the P&L looks. Run your business like a business. Don't spend all that money, right? But just fill it up and manage it properly, right? So yes, as you can see, and this calculator is a cap rate calculator. You can just go into Google or go to whatever, download your app stores or whatever, and then you download cap rate calculator, and you have a calculator just like this that will come in and calculate it. Essentially, you put in your purchase price, you put in your you put your operating expenses in, your vacancy rate, and then the income that's coming in on an annual basis, and it calculates your cap rate for you. And I'm making a 13% cap rate on this facility. This facility is almost full. It's like 90% full right now, maybe more. And I mean, essentially, in the commercial world, I'm telling you, they are happy when they're buying at 5, 6, 7, 8%. And I have a 13% facility, a 13% cap rate facility right now. So, I mean, obviously you can see that the value, I don't spend a lot of money. I'm bringing the value up, and it's valued now. I mean, if you value that at 13%, calculate that. That's $800,000. Now, I won't be able to sell it for that much unless I go in and actually maybe clean it up the way that I want. If I go in and really clean that up and put $50,000 into this thing, I could definitely sell this for $600,000 or $700,000. This thing. Isn't that crazy? Right? And I bought it for $250,000. Right? And I've only had this thing 3 years. 3 years. All right. So that is that. So my question to you is, how are you building long-term wealth? Right? How are you building? Are you doing the BRRRR? Where you buy and rent and refi and rehab and whatever it is, all the R's. You're trying to buy houses over and over, and you're getting that $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. My question is, how many houses do you have to buy in order to make $3,000? I'm making minimum $3,000 on that Fayetteville location. How many houses a month? $3,000 a month. How many houses do you have to buy in order to make that? Right? And how much work do you have to do in order to get there? And how much is it going to cost you in order to get there? And I spent $250,000 on one facility, and I'm making now $3,000 net at least every single month. And I have a value of, 500, at least 500 to 600,000. I doubled my value on this facility by doing nothing but just managing it properly, right? So that is how I'm building long-term wealth. That is how I am building my business around the lifestyle I want to do, right? So I'm making my lifestyle a priority, and then my business is going to be built after that. And I'm going to slowly build my passive income up this way, okay? So that is why I feel like self-storage is the real estate niche that no one is investing in, but everybody should be investing in, right? And so that is why I started the super simple self-storage mastermind, right? And I really hope that you guys click on the offer. I'm going to put the offer out right here before I forget to, that I have. Let's see if it comes up. Send. Okay, good. There's the offer. So you can click on that. And essentially the mastermind is going to be 20 virtual calls with me. Okay, so we meet every other Tuesday, and we have a 2-hour virtual call where we sit and just go step by step by step. And there's a group of us on there. So it's group coaching. And there's 20 of those over the course of the year. And the goal is to get you to get your first property under contract by April, because in April is when we have our 2-day mastermind, okay? Where all of us are going to get together. There's going to be 30 of us in the group, and we're going to all get together and just mastermind. When I say mastermind, I say you're going to be talking about your goals. You're going to get up. You're going to talk about your goals. You're going to talk about your challenges. You're going to talk about your wins. And the entire group helps you to solve all of the issues that you are having, and then hear all the wins that are working for you, so they can also hear those as well. Okay. So that's what a mastermind is. So I'll be there to facilitate it. We'll have some guest speakers coming in, and then we'll mastermind. And then on top of that, you have every other week the group coaching calls. Okay. So that is 2 hours every other week on Tuesdays. And if you're not there, if you can't make any of the meetings, or if you can't only make some of the meetings, all the meetings are recorded, so you'll have access to that, okay? Then you can watch those later. And then on top of that, you're going to have access to my online course. I'm in the process of working on my online course right now. It'll be ready probably in the next couple of months, because it's going a little bit slower than I thought. But it will, whenever it comes out, you will have access to that as well too. You have access to the private Facebook group that we're going to have, where everybody in the group is going to be able to talk to each other, hold each other accountable, talk to each other, and help each other out. And then also we have access. You're going to have access to the the coaching accountability software that I have. This is an amazing software that basically what it does is it's going to keep you on track. So what you do is you figure out what your goals are, right? So some of the people in the group, they say, I want to buy 4 storage facilities. Or some people say, I'm happy if I can just get 1. That would be awesome, in a year. And some say, I want to buy 4 or 3 or 2. So essentially you write your goals down. You say, okay, I want to buy 1 storage facility by April, by April, the mastermind. And then you go through and you start writing you write your metrics out. I need to do this. 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 These are all the things that I need to do in order to get to that goal, right? And then you create tasks within those metrics, right? So if you say like, I need to find funding for a storage facility, or I need to save $25,000 for a down payment of a storage facility. And then you put that, you say, how do I save $25,000? I need to do this, 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 and this. And so you basically create your goals, you create metrics, and you create the tasks to get you there. And what it does is it reports to you. You go in and you say, yes, I've done that on a weekly basis. Yes, I've done that. Yes, I've done that. And then if you start falling behind, it starts sending you emails like, why haven't you done this, right? You're going behind. And it holds you accountable. It's an awesome software that I'm like so excited I'm even using it in 2020 for my goals as well too. And so you'll be able to utilize this software, and we will get that set up on the first day. Everybody will get in there and we'll get it set up, and then we'll work on trying to come up with our goals so everybody can put those in for homework and stuff like that. And then on top of that, you have so many awesome bonuses. You have so many wonderful things. So what I would like for you to do is, please, if you can, just click on the link, and all it's going to do is take you to the landing page, right? And the landing page is where it'll explain all the different bonuses, everything that you're going to learn in the mastermind. I'm going to be there as a coach to mentor you, and I'm only charging $497 a month, but it's a commitment for 1 year. Right? So you're going to get those goals, and you're going to achieve those goals, and I'm going to help you to do that. My goal for this year is to help 100 students to get one deal, at least one deal this year, right? So if you are interested, please click on that link, go check it out, or you can go to stacyrossetti.com, and then you can click on the Super Secret Investor Society. It's right there as well. And let me see. It's $497 a month. Yes. $497 a month. So this is group coaching, and it is a mastermind, right? So you have 20 sessions with in the group coaching, and then you have two-day masterminds, plus all of the other bonuses that are listed there on the landing page. All right. So this is something, if you really want to get storage facilities, I highly recommend that you do this, because I will be there along the way. And then 30 other people are going to hold you accountable as well too. Right. So can't let the group down, right? Can't let them down. All right. Does anybody have any other questions about the mastermind, about storage facilities? Any other things that you need, please make sure that you follow me on YouTube under Stacy Rossetti Teaches, and, follow me on Facebook. Just search Stacy Rossetti, and then you can start. I'm going to be doing a lot of teaching this year. So if you need help, I'm here for you. Any other questions? Anything else? Okay. Let's see. Samuel says, where can we get deals for storage for students? Did you come in late? Because literally the whole presentation was about me telling you how to get deals for storage. You mean like to get like a unit or like a facility? Like, I'm not 100% sure on your question, but essentially, if you need a facility, you need to start driving for storage facilities. All right. Let's see. Anybody else? It looks like I got everybody. It looks like I got everything. All right. So, I think I saw, sorry, excuse me. I see a couple here. Rob says, is an office phone versus a call center system to handling calls? Okay. Yeah. So essentially it's all just how much you can afford. Call centers are kind of expensive, right? So I would love to have a call center answering my phone, but it's just a little bit more expensive than what we can afford. We have 6 facilities, right? And so we got calls coming in, and they go by call and they go by facility. And so you just have to call around and see what the differences are, honestly. But for me, I feel like hiring an office manager and having an office manager in-house and just answering calls randomly when they come in, and then doing all the other work that needs to get done is more efficient than just having like a call center answer calls, and then they have like a set rate every single month. All right. Okay, good. And then we have a private here. Anything private? I don't see anything. No. Okay, I think we got everything. Any other questions? Did you drive aimlessly, or is there a strategy? No, you have to find storage facilities that are not big boxes, right? And actually, the ones that you're going to be finding are not going to be on Google Maps. The ones that you're going to be buying are not going to be on Google Maps. All right. So yeah, it's kind of like you got to figure it out. You got to figure out what to do. But you got to drive around aimlessly. But have a strategy to it. You don't just randomly go. It's like, okay, I'm going to go over to like whatever, Clayton County, or I'm going to go over to this area today, because you can just drive around. I mean, I drove around like a couple months ago for about 6 hours, and I found like 40 storage facilities, not even on the map. All right. So, yeah, so if you have any other questions, I think that's it. Just go ahead and message me. All right. And I wish you guys the best in 2020. I'm here for you. Okay. Have a good night, guys. Bye.